Another guard? Don't be surprised, Spurs fans, if the San Antonio Spurs drop Johnny Davis at number 9. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? A happy Memorial Day to you all. Hopefully it's a safe one. And also congratulations to Derek White, amongst others, former San Antonio Spurs that have reached the NBA Finals. So short term, the Celtics certainly won that trade. No, I'm not wearing a Celtics shirt. It's a Monopoly shirt. Anyway, we're talking about Johnny Davis today. He has been mocked to the San Antonio Spurs at number 9 quite a bit, using Blazers Edge as well as they did a wonderful write-up of his strengths, weaknesses, whatever. I'm going to leave a link to the article down below in case you want to read the full article in the description. Drop a comment down below. If the Spurs do draft Johnny Davis, do you like this move? Do you hate this move? Are you kind of neutral? Is it just another guard Spursy thing? Hit the thumbs up if you like to help support the channel and subscribe for more Spurs content. Johnny Davis. Who is he? What does he do? Johnny Davis is a 6'5", 195-pound, close to my stats, 6'4", 195, right-handed guard, 20 years old, and his projected draft range is between 5 and 10. So Spurs drafting number 9 kind of sits right in that wheelhouse, and he played very well to Wisconsin last year, almost 20 points per game, 8 rebounds, a steal, 2 assists. A little wonky from beyond the beyond the arc, but overall, shooting was kind of expected for what it would be from a college player. Anyway, let's get into Johnny Davis's strengths. Davis might be the most complete backcourt player in the 2022 draft class. He is an elite defender. I like those two words next to each other. Elite defender in both on-ball and off-ball situations. In one-on-one matchups, Davis utilizes the perfect blend of footwork and strength to stymie opponents. He fights through screens effectively when chasing assignments off the ball. Davis is also an excellent rebounder for his size. And I gotta sit here and wonder, Spurs fans, Davis averaged 8 rebounds a game in college. DeJounte Murray just averaged 8 rebounds per game in the NBA. If this was our starting backcourt, not next season, but the season after, would we have the best rebounding backcourt in the NBA? Could both these guys average 7 to 8 rebounds? Ideally, that's not necessarily what you want from your backcourt, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, moving right along. Davis is an expert at generating space against defenders of all sizes. On the perimeter, he has the step back and pull-up arsenal to create chances for himself. In the post, he has developed a set of post moves that is perfect for exploiting smaller defenders. Now, that's one little asterisk I like to put there. That's great to hear he has a great set of post moves, but exploiting smaller defenders, he's 6'5". He's 20. I got to think he's probably done growing. Is he going to run into that many shooting guards that are smaller, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4"? I think not. I think he's going to run into a lot of players that are about the same size or bigger. So I'm not sure how well those post moves he used in college are going to translate into the NBA. His weaknesses. Davis' biggest weaknesses are tied to his shot selection and lack of top-end burst. He took an excessive amount of tough shots in low-reward areas last season. However, Spurs fans, part of that was due to his role, but his penchant for contested mid-range shots clearly impacted his efficiency. Stop taking the tough shot, pass it off to your teammate. But from what I've read with Wisconsin, he was kind of doing everything, doing a little of this, doing a little of that, little Batman's hand on Lance. I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway, shot selection hopefully would be better if he comes to the Spurs in the NBA. Defensively, Davis did allow elite athletes to get by him occasionally. Well, did you have to put that in there, Blazers Edge? Elite athletes going to get by him occasionally? Of course, elite athlete. You're not going to be perfect 100% defense all the time. You're going to get burned at some point. Anyway, let's move right along, Spurs fans. For last season, Davis earned the Big Ten Player of the Year award and a spot in the consensus All-American First Team. Awesome. His overall assessment. Davis is a complete player that is poised to improve his efficiency in a reduced role at the next level. Davis has the skills to blossom into an impactful two-way player. And I've said this many times on the channel before, this team was led by fantastic two-way players. David Robinson, Tim Duncan. Number 2, I guess DeJounte Murray is taking that torch right now. I don't think he's considered an elite two-way player as of yet, but he's certainly, I would say, fringe borderline, had a fantastic offensive year, fantastic defensive year. Maybe he would consider him an elite two-way player. I don't know. He is competitive in, let me back up a little bit. Davis has the skills to blossom into impact. Okay, Davis has the skills to blossom into an impactful two-way player. His feature role in college should translate nicely to reserve guard duties early in his career. So drafting him as a backup, and Spurs, there's no way if we draft him, he's starting. I don't see him going to the G League, but he's not starting. He's coming off the bench. He is competitive in multiple areas on both ends of the floor. His ceiling might not be as high as other lottery options, but his floor is 30. So here's the issue with, I just did the draft profile of Jalen Duren. Duren, I would say, might have a lower floor than Johnny Davis based on what I've been reading. but he could have a higher ceiling. So what do you do, Spurs fans? Do you go with more the risk but a potentially higher reward, or do you do the safe option? And I feel like we've kind of, maybe with Joshua Primo, we kind of did more the high risk, high reward. Devin Vassell, kind of best player available. Luka Samanic, I don't really know what we were thinking there. Anyway, what would you do in that scenario? Now, I'm going to get into how I think Davis fits on the Spurs roster and what needs to happen, the overall fit section, which obviously does not apply to us as Spurs fans. This is for Portland Trail Blazers fans. So if there's a Blazers fan, thank you for stopping in. Anybody stopping in. But I saw this on the bottom, and I would be remiss if I didn't hit the play button right about now. I mean, I think, now it's playing in slow motion for whatever reason. I don't know why. But here we go. And suck it! James Harden. Had to do it. Of course, one of the greatest blocks in Spurs history by Hall of Famer Manu Ginobili. So let's get my 2 cents now in regards to Johnny Davis. Look at the Spurs roster, Spurs fans. We have a lot of shooting guards. Right now, if you go by ESPN Basketball Reference, we have 5 currently on the roster. Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, Joshua Primo, Josh Richardson, and Romeo Langford. 5. We have a 15-man roster, excluding 2-ways. I count that because they're using the G League or just not playing at all. So that means right now, 33% of our roster is shooting guards. So when you hear Spurs fans, if you're new to this channel and you're not familiar with the Spurs, when you hear Spurs fans say another guard, this is why we are loaded with shooting guards. Yeah, I know a lot of guards, they can be 2s or 3s, i.e. play the shooting guard or small forward position, wing, whatever. That is still too many. Ideally, I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like to have 2 or 3 at each position. If you have a 15-man roster, there's 5 positions, have 3 at each. 3 point guards, 3 shooting guards, 3, you see what I'm saying? In case there's an injury. Anyway, if Johnny Davis is drafted, there's going to be some changes on the Spurs roster, in this Spurs fan's humble opinion. Lonnie Walker, gone. Johnny Davis is selected. You're bringing in a player that's about the same size, has a different set of skills, obviously, in Lonnie Walker. Walker, the much more explosive athlete, just incredible ability to fly through the air and put up highlight real-type plays. Davis, on the other hand, is going to give us a much more stable player when it comes to defense. He's already we've talked about him being a 2-way player, so I think he's going to be an upgrade on defense, offensively, different skill set, but maybe about the same output. That being said, Johnny Davis is drafted. Lonnie Walker, that's the sign that the Spurs are not going to re-sign him. Josh Richardson. Davis is drafted. That could mean the Spurs look to shop him. Could they shop Josh Richardson and one of those draft picks, maybe to try to move up a little bit in the draft? Either the 20th pick we have or the 25th, possibly. And then I also think, Romeo, what injury now, Romeo? No offense to Romeo Langford, but his whole career is an injury. My man B-Town Breakdown told me he was always injured with Boston. He comes to the Spurs, injured, plays a game, injured, plays a game. He was constantly on and off the injury report all year. And I hear from you guys, he has a lot of potential. Potential doesn't mean nothing if you're hurt and sitting on the bench all the time. So I think the Spurs would shop Romeo Langford. I think this year is guaranteed, correct me if I'm wrong, $4 or $5 million. But they might just decide, move on. And that would give us a backcourt, shooting guards, Devin Vassell, Joshua Primo, and Johnny Davis. Who starts next season? I don't think Davis is, even though he's a lottery pick if we take him. Does Devin Vassell continue his starting role that he had from last season? Does Josh Primo take it over? And what does that do for these guys minutes-wise? Do the Spurs play more small ball this season and get destroyed on the boards? And just have a rotation sometimes with Keldon, Devin, Primo, Davis, and DeJounte, and it would just go uber small. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. That's a disaster. Keldon Johnson would be the center in that scenario. So let's hope that doesn't happen, but it wouldn't shock me if there's a situation where if another team's playing small ball, we had a roster like that out there, and who knows, maybe it could work, maybe it wouldn't. But I think I'd be fine with Johnny Davis being drafted, but ideally, I don't want him drafted, Spurs fans, and it's nothing against him. I'm sure he's a great player. Right now, I'd rather work on the shooting guard rotation of Devin Vassell and Joshua Primo and see where that goes. If the Spurs decide to keep Lonnie, fine. Whatever they do with Jay Rich, Romeo Langford, hey, I'll support the team either way. But I really think, and we've been saying this, we got to get a big. Whether it's a center or a power forward. Power forward being ideal. I think power forward is the biggest need on this team. And if there's a player that's ranked, between 10 and 14, 15, and we take him at 9, I'll be fine with that. Maybe we overdrafted a little, but it's very much a positional need. Center, I do think, is something that we need as well. Some of you are saying, what do you mean center? TSR, you're crazy. We got Jakob Poeltl. We got Zach Collins. We have Jacques Landale. We've got 3 centers. We have 3 centers right now. all three of those centers might not be with the Spurs the following season. Jakob Poeltl is on the last year of his contract. Spurs might not want to pay him what he asks the following year. Zach Collins, half of his contract is guaranteed this year. The other half is not. The following year, the third year of his contract is not guaranteed. If he gets hurt at all, hope this doesn't happen, but if he suffers any type of injury that keeps him out for a substantial amount of time next season, the Spurs are going to move on. They're going to be like, dang it, you're a former lottery pick. We saw potential, but you were injured a ton with Portland. Now you're injured again, especially if it's an ankle injury. I hope not. I'm just going by track record. They would move on from him. Then Jock Landale, while he had his moments this season with the Spurs in his rookie season, he is going to be 27 next season. I don't think his contract's guaranteed. Might bring him back for one more year, and they could decide to move on for him. So the big guys is really what we need. So if the Spurs do take Jalen Duren, which I might mention in my video, yes, it seems like we have a lot of centers now, but that's a position that could get really cleaned out over the next year. So a lot of question marks with our bigs, an area where we were solid for 2.5 decades. It feels weird being a Spurs fan and having a giant Riddler question mark right there on our bigs, but we do. I started becoming a Spurs fan in 1990. David Robinson, anchor. And then Tim Duncan comes in 97. And then Duncan, another 20 years. So over 25 years of having a solid two-way big on our team that we could trust to go out there and get the job done. And no disrespect to the guys we have right now, but we don't have an all-star type big player. I guess you could say Aldridge was that player, although no disrespect to Marcus Aldridge, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, different level than LaMarcus Aldridge. So a very interesting time to be a Spurs fan. If we draft him, I'll support him and root for him like I do any Spur, any player that comes to the team that's not a San Antonio Spur, whether it's a trade or a draft. I will hope they do well and become great San Antonio Spurs. But ideally, he is not the guy I want at number 9, even if he is the best player available. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you have a safe day. And as always, go Spurs, go!